So hello students, I welcome you all to the Navigator series by Vajiram and Ravi. In today's series, we are going to focus upon the mistakes which one needs to avoid in their UPSC CSE Mains preparation. Okay, we are here dealing exclusively about the mistakes which students generally tend to commit in their mains examination preparation. So before delving into particular mistakes which are committed at different levels of the examination, be it at the level of revision, at the level of understanding of the syllabus, at the level of note making, etc. First, try to understand what are the different pillars of the UPSC mains preparation. Okay, and here to understand the different pillars, we will go by the ABC framework. And the first pillar is of having the right attitude and belief on yourself, the effective part of the preparation. Okay, at times it might feel like it is very challenging, it is very difficult. However, you must be having a very unflinching nature of belief on yourself that yes, you are going to do everything which it requires to clear the examination. And finally, you also need to have a belief upon yourself that you are going to come out as a winning candidate. All right. Secondly, once we have our belief systems right, then we need to focus on the behavioral pillar of this preparation. What do you mean by behavioral pillar? Is that whatever it is required, the things that you need to incorporate, be it the studying routine, all right, the revision protocol. Also, there is a very important aspect of physical health, etc., which is required to be in very good shape, especially for the mains preparation, because it is very challenging. All right. So how you are also going to take care of your health and everything. So everything that is related to with the behavior part, the action part of this preparation, that also needs to be taken care of properly. And then finally, since this is an intellectual examination whereby we are supposed to process lots and lots of information and finally come out with very crisp, to the point and relevant answers in your mains examination. So cognitive part is also there, and we can tackle that by having a very defined boundary. Okay, this is our syllabus of a particular subject, these are the previous year questions, etc., and these are my defined sources which I am going to prepare. And once these boundaries are very well decided, then it becomes really easy to prepare those parts. Okay, so these are the three aspects of your mains preparation, and we have to take care of all the three equally so that our preparation is not only very much balanced, but also stands a very high chance of leading to success in this examination. In the cognitive part, it is also important that we understand not only what to be studied, rather how to study, what should be our method of study, what mistakes we should generally avoid on the better side, right? So with this understanding, let's move towards the first mistake which we generally tend to commit. And students, when we start preparing for the mains, one very common mistake is that we do not switch from our prelims mindset. Okay, see, although the preparation is largely integrated, okay, there is no doubt about it, especially the larger foundation of different general studies subject, it is integrated. However, once we have channelized ourselves into the main preparation, one thing we need to do is to change our mindset. In prelims, we are required to solve objective nature of questions. It's more about identifying the right option, as well as having developing sharp eye to identify what are the negative options. But once we are preparing for the mains, one very important change is that here the examination is of subjective nature. Okay, say for example, if there is any issue, say federalism topic of the polity. Okay, so in prelims examination, you might be preparing about the different aspects, more importantly about the different properties, and you might expect to get a question about identifying what are the correct features or properties of the federalism. Okay, however, but when it comes to mains, you are expected to have a very elaborate command as well as ability to do the dimensional analysis. For example, in this topic itself, what has been the evolution of Indian federalism, what are the current issues that our Indian federal system is facing, and what could be done to improve upon it, what are the different recommendations, etc. So there is a 360-degree analysis from subjective point of view which is required in the mains preparation. So that shift from objective to subjective preparation is something which should be highly emphasized upon. Okay, then again, there is also a requirement of having an ability to think on the feet. See, there are 20 questions in each of the GS papers, and there might be some of the questions which you may not be very well prepared of, or something which you have a direct content on. But still, you should have that ability that, okay, I have done a very good preparation, and if at all there is some tangential topic, some bouncer kind of thing also, then I'll use whatever the accumulated knowledge, understanding that I have till now, and I'll try to think something, on the feet during the examination and come up with some relevant content. So that ability and confidence to think something quickly and coming up with something relevant is also very much appreciated attribute of this mains preparation. Okay, and finally there is also a stamina aspect, because in prelims we are solving papers in an objective manner, that too for just 2 hours of duration. Okay, so the physical exertion component is not that big. However, in mains, each day you are writing 2 papers, and that too 3 hours each, and those papers are also of subjective nature. Okay, so writing two papers each day at times consecutively demands a very good physical stamina as well. So it is also important that you take care of your health, right sitting posture, nutrition, etc. Okay, now let's move to the next mistake. And next, and often a very cardinal mistake that happens, is that students do not have a very holistic understanding of the syllabus. They just have an insufficient understanding. What do I mean by this? Is that it is not sufficient to just learn the headers of the syllabus. Okay, these are the syllabus of GS paper 1 modern history part, or this is the syllabus for the internal security of your GS paper 3. Okay, see, those syllabus pointers are just the guidelines. But the holistic understanding, the sufficient understanding of syllabus comes when we map each syllabus heading with the different previous year questions that has been asked from that particular topic. Because syllabus are the guidelines, however, it is the previous year questions which help us to define a proper boundary that, okay, this particular topic needs to be prepared in this particular length, breadth and depth. Okay. Not only that, if you do a very good analysis of previous year questions and also try to map that what were the different themes that were in news in that particular year. So with the help of that understanding of current affairs of those particular years, we can also try and have a better understanding to some degree of correctness that what are the highly probable areas that are that needs to be prepared for the upcoming mains examinations. Okay, so the syllabus headings, then you also going to focus on the previous year questions as well as the awareness of the current affairs, or say the contemporary affair themes. So if you do these three things very holistically, then you have a very sufficient understanding of the syllabus and your preparation is going to be largely in a very channelized direction. Okay. Then again, one more thing which is important is that you should also have a paper wise and subject wise approach. Each GS paper is unique, and among those GS paper also there are different subjects. For example, if there is a question on polity that has a certain structure about, there might be some, like, in a particular institution of our democracy, there might be some suggestions, there might be some ready-made templates of conclusion, etc. So that should also be there in your mind. Okay, these are the this is a standard structure of a polity answer. Similarly, this is a standard structure of an environment or say disaster management answer. All right. Then if there are different subjects, you also need to be having a good command subject wise as well. Okay, each subject has its own style of answer writing. Okay, what are the different things that you are going to do for the value addition? Say, for example, in agriculture part or say economy part, there you are going to rely more on the different kind of data, news schemes, reports, everything. Then at the same time, in your questions of art and culture in GS paper 1, you might be relying a bit on making different kind of diagrams, etc., just to enrich your answer. So that paper wise and subject wise clarity is also equally important. And then one more thing which is there is that you should also have an ability to understand the implicit and explicit demands of the questions. Okay, the ability to properly interpret a question. Say, for example, if this is a 10 marker, what are the different subheadings that you can create, and everything depending upon the syllabus from which that particular question has been asked. All right. So with this clarity, let's move to the next mistake. The third mistake that students often tend to commit is the unscientific note making. Okay, most of our preparation relies upon the quality of notes that we make for this examination. Okay, but if our notes are not very much scientific, then they do not help us in a way it is intended to. So what are a good quality notes? A good notes is something which is very crisp, to the point. It covers the syllabus very holistically, but at the same time its length and breadth is of minimum minimum nature, because only when our notes are crisp. See, time for every student for preparation of this mains examination is same. Okay, then where we can take advantage? We can take advantage by having a very crisp notes, because if our notes are very crisp, then they will lead to more frequency of revision within the same time. Okay, and if our frequency of revision, quality of revision is more within the same time, then our ability to recall those same points also increases during the examination hall, and it is the ability to recall the points during the examination hall which finally ends up in converting into good quality answers. Okay, so always focus on making notes which are very crisp to the point and in a manner such that you are able to revise it multiple times. Okay, then again we can also focus upon having a template format note. Okay, like if there are some 8 to 10 different kind of themes in GS paper 3, say for example water pollution is there, and then logistics sector is there, then there is something related to disaster management. So you can also prepare some template introductions and conclusions, etc., which you can, if the question comes, you are able to directly replicate in your examination. Okay, so that also helps to enhance the quality of your notes. And at the same time, the notes which you are making specifically for a mains preparation should be directly replicable in the form of answer. Okay, they should not be made from the point of view of understanding a subject for the first time. The notes which you make earlier are of different nature. However, here we should avoid the large background understanding kind of thing of any topic. All right. And then the notes are always of agile and evolving nature. What do I mean by this? Is that notes are not something static, rather they are a living organism. That is, we always tend to add something new, okay, based on some current affairs or some new reading, etc. So always have a proper space, be it digital notes or physical notes, so that if you get some new information from some model answer, from some class lecture or anything, so you are able to add that information then and there, so that your notes quality is also continuously improving in an agile manner. All right. Let's move to the next mistake, and that is not unlearning the old writing patterns. Students, just keep in mind that mains is a subjective examination whereby you have to write the answers. Okay, and one very cardinal line about mains preparation is that you are as good as your answer sheet. All right, this is a line which decides the whole trajectory of our mains preparation. No matter how much the material we have read, how much good quality notes we have made, finally it is the quality of our answers which decides how good a candidate we are for this mains examination. Okay, so we need to develop a very crisp style of writing for the mains answers, because what happens is that the mistake is that over the decades of school and college experience, like we have developed a certain style of writing which is often non-directed and unconstrained. What do I mean by this? Is that most of the writing that we do in our school and college, there are very flexible limits on the word or say the time. We tend to write a lot more in particular questions, then we tend to write a little less in some of the questions. Okay, and that is often not very much emphasized upon. However, the UPSC mains examination is a very directed and constrained writing. Okay, so whatever the things that we have learned which are not in sync with the UPSC mains answer writing, those needs to be unlearned. And how do we get the idea about those? Those ideas we can get about understanding the cardinal UPSC guidelines. Okay, say for example, what are the guidelines that are there for writing a 10 marker? We can simply derive it from here, that we are supposed to write a 10 marker in firstly 2 pages, there is a space limit, then roughly 7 minutes, this is the time limit, and then in 150 words. Okay, so UPSC mains answer writing is a very much directed exercise, very much constrained exercise. Like whatever we have to write within the conditions of space limit, time limit and word limit. So always keep this in mind, and in order to come up with good quality answers following these cardinal guidelines, we have to have a very crisp writing style with brevity. Okay, so that is something you should try to cultivate, and how you can do that is by inspecting and treating your own answer scripts. Okay, so whatever tests or practice that you are doing, so whatever writing that you have done, you should revisit those answer sheets and try to find out that are there any redundant words which you are writing, okay, in a particular point, or say are you making paragraphs which are unnecessarily verbose, okay, using way more words than required to convey the same meaning. So just try to strike off the redundant words, etc. And if even after striking off the redundant word, the larger meaning remains the same, the grammar, etc. is not getting off the track, then it means that those words were redundant, okay, and not required. And especially in a very directed and constrained type of writing, we just cannot afford to write redundant words. Okay, so if you do this exercise with different iterations over a certain period of time, you will find that your writing style has been refined and completely suiting to the requirement of the mains examination. Okay, for taking an idea, you can also refer to several topper copies, how they are writing in a given amount of time about a particular question, and at the same time you can also develop the habit of using self-explanatory phrases. What do I mean by that? That it is not really required to write full sentences in your points, rather just come up with self-explanatory phrases which are grammatically sound, but at the same time use as minimum words as possible to convey a particular idea. All right. I hope this aspect is clear to you. Let's move to the next mistake. The mistake number 5, which students tend to commit, is that they have a very unscientific revision protocol. Okay. See, irrespective of what you have read as a material, as a source for preparation of your different subjects, as well as how much different kind of notes that you have made, it is ultimately what you can recall during the examination hall is what matters, and this is something which translates into good quality answers. Okay, so revision becomes a very critical link in our mains preparation. However, often students tend to commit the mistake of just passive reading and highlighting. Okay, but there are multiple studies which have been conducted is that merely passively reading any material and or say just highlighting it with different colors of highlighters doesn't lead into very good quality recall. Okay, it might give us a sense of satisfaction that okay, we have revised a certain amount of time by a certain amount of material by highlighting. However, the retention value in our mind is not that great. Okay, so you should also take care of that. And what we can do in order to have a very good scientific revision is that try to practice active recall. Okay, so whatever material that you have, your final notes, maybe you can convert it into question and answer format. If not in question and answer format, then at least you could have a heading for every notes and then whatever detailed material that is there. Okay, so before irrespective of say just reading it in a passive manner, rather you can just maybe cover the rest of the answer and just read the heading. Try to force your mind, okay, to recall. If you recall, well and good. Even if you do not recall, now your mind is in a very fertile condition to grasp whatever that you are going to read ahead. Okay, so this exercise of active recall has been scientifically proven, to lead into very good quality of retention. So this is a habit which you must incorporate in your revision protocol. Okay, at the same time, there are multiple tools in the market which can help enhance your revision, and one of those is Anki. Okay, Anki is a software again based on spaced repetition, whereby algorithm remembers what are the things, different syllabus that you remember very well. So the revision frequency of those points is lesser. However, if there are things which you tend to forget often, then the algorithm takes care of that, and those things are shown to you to be revised on a higher frequency. Okay, so such kind of tools which tend to force you to do active recall, at the same time they also take care of the spaced repetition of your revisions. Such things should be very well exploited in order to have an edge over others in the preparation. At the same time, there is something I would like to draw your attention towards. There is a very good essay by a gentleman, Peter Wozniak, about 20 rules of formulating knowledge. It largely deals with how our minds processes information, what are the things which really help in effective retention as well as understanding of the different information or knowledge. Okay, so there are some 20 very cardinal rules in this essay. So if you read this, you are bound to derive some very good value which will definitely help in your UPSC mains preparation. Okay, let's move to the next mistake, and that mistake is not taking full advantage of the test series. Okay, for the mains preparation, most of the students enroll in one test series or another. However, it is not enrolling which is sufficient. Rather, we should have the ability to exploit the best benefits of the test series. Okay, and what do I mean by that is that each paper should lead to closure of themes and issues. Okay, say for example, if you are giving a test of GS paper 1, and if you are getting a particular question from the modern history, say for example, comparison of Gandhi and Tagore. All right, so if you are getting it, then that particular topic should be properly prepared. Okay, irrespective whether you are able to write a good answer in that test series or not, but after giving that test, if that issue has been asked, then you should come and make sure that now that comparison you have prepared very well. Similarly, if there is a question in your polity about comparative constitution, if they are comparing a certain aspect of Indian constitution with the constitution of USA or the constitution of France, then those particular issues that have been already asked in your test series, they should be properly prepared so that you are confident that okay, if I have written a particular test of 20 questions, then at least 20 themes, my 20 themes are prepared. Okay, so that is how you successively move ahead in your preparation. Otherwise, if you are just writing tests and not revisiting, not preparing those themes properly, then there is no net displacement in your preparation. Okay, so this is something you have to take in mind. Also, you should understand that these test series are not a tool of performance. Okay, rather they are a tool of improvement. If you take it as a tool of performance and if we somehow tend to score lesser marks, then we get demotivated. But no, always take it as a tool of improvement, that okay, either I am going to write very good answers to the questions asked in my test series, and if at all I am not able to do that, then whatever questions and things that have been asked, I am going to prepare them very religiously, so that if at all there is a question, similar question or tangential question from that theme in the mains examination, now I am as good prepared as anyone else. Okay, so taking it as a tool of improvement is equally important. Then again, the second thing which I would like to draw your attention towards is that absorb when your mind is still fertile. Okay, say for example, if you are facing a particular question about landslides, all right, in your GS paper 3 test, and somehow you are not able to write good points, but during the examination you tried to force yourself, you could not write. So after this, your mind is very fertile. So if immediately after writing the test you refer to the model answers, then whatever you will read, there is a very higher probability of good quality of retention of those points later on. Okay, so always do that exercise simultaneously. Do not leave revision of your test series for some later time. And at the same time, whatever the model answers that are being provided, they are of very good quality, and they are of a nature that you can directly replicate it in your examination hall. So always try to do a very smart adoption of that. If at all, if there is some lacuna in your notes, you can derive points from there and add there. And if at all that complete topic is lacking from your notes, you can smartly adopt that model answer as your notes for the last moment revision. Okay, and if at all there are any issues that you are facing, be it at the level of presentation, okay, at the level of time management, or at the level of proper structuring or decoding of the questions, all right. So if you are facing any issue, then the good idea should be to take mentorship and immediately resolve those issues instantly. Do not leave anything lingering on for some next better time, because that time never comes. Okay, the mains preparation, the time is very less. Okay, in the 90 days you have to prepare everything, write test and do corrections, do improvement, revise. So do not leave any issue lingering for some later time. All right, with that, let's move to the next mistake. And the next mistake that is often committed by students is that they are somehow aloof about what really works in the mains examination hall. So thing is, often students are engaged in reading lots of material, taking lots of classes, writing different test series and everything. However, we have to understand that it is not something that directly translates into a very good quality of performance. Ultimately, what matters in the mains examination hall is your ability to recall a point at command. Okay, that yes, I have prepared a certain topic from say in your ethics, you are very well prepared with the citizen charter. Okay, so if at all there is a question from citizen charter, your notes should be of such a good quality that you are able to revise it multiple times, and finally you are able to recall it during the examination hall. Okay, so always think that whatever preparation that I am going to do, if I am reading a particular topic, it should somehow lead in the direction that if at all there is a question in the examination hall, you will be able to produce those points at your command. Okay, and what are the different ingredients that go towards this exercise is that firstly, having a very good understanding of the syllabus along with PYQs. If you do this thing right, then you are going to make very good quality notes. Okay, your notes will be of good quality, directed towards the towards the precise direction of the demands of the examination. And then with having a very good quality notes, you are going to have a higher frequency of revision in the lesser time, or say the similar time, and this is finally going to lead towards the better quality of recall during the examination hall, and finally to the good quality of answers and consequently in good marks. Okay, so this is the whole anatomy of preparation. So always understand that whatever effort that you are putting, they should be linked to one or another step in this algorithm and finally translate into good quality answers. All right. At the same time, there is second thing which really helps in your mains preparation, and that is a skill of having mental models. Okay, what do I mean by mental models? To interpret and break down any question. So if there is any question, say for example, if there is a 10 marker or if there is a 15 marker, so by analysis of different previous year questions and different questions asked in test series, you have to develop a skill that the moment you see any question, for example, if it is a 10 marker, you should be immediately able to interpret that what are its different demands, and by understanding the different demands, you should be able to know that what are the two very precise subheadings which I can make in this particular question, and then I can come up with the relevant points below that. Okay. Similarly, for 15 markers, you should have that ability to immediately interpret the question and break down into, say, for example, 2 or here 3 subheadings. All right. So this skill only develops when we spend a good amount of time with syllabus as well as previous year questions, trying to decode the demand that is there in a previous year question, then referring to its model answer, then trying to do the course correction in your own thinking, like whether you are right or wrong. If you are right, then you can simply reinforce that thinking. But at the same time, if there is some lacuna, then you can make some course correction. Okay. So you should have that, the interpretation ability is like a prism. The way prism breaks a white light into its constituent parts. Similarly, you should have that mental model in your mind to interpret any question and break down its constituent demands. So if there is a question, so if you have this particular model in your mind, then the moment you apply it, then you are able to break it into whatever the subparts or sub-demands of that question are. And once you are able to interpret it properly, then with your preparation, you will be definitely able to recall some relevant points to write below those headings. All right. So this ability to recall and the ability to properly interpret a question are the two tools which really help to write good answers during your examination hall, and one should not be aloof about it. Rather, they should emphasize upon it to a very good deal, so that their preparation is in very much right direction. Okay. Now let's move to the eighth mistake, and that is ignoring the physical aspects of the mains examination. Okay, we also discussed a little bit about it initially. See, although the mains examination is a very much intellectual examination, whereby the reading, writing, note making, grasping knowledge from the lectures, etc., everything is required. However, there is a physical aspects of it. Okay, like we just discussed, you're supposed to write for 3 hours per day, that to subjective answers, and at times at consecutive days. Okay, so there is a very good amount of physical stamina that is required to withstand, to sit for 3 hours. The stamina to sit is undistracted without feeling much discomfort, etc., in the neck or in the back, or say the strain in the hands. These are things which legit happen to the students. So you should also be very much cognizant of your physical health. Okay, and how you can do that? You can do that by taking proper care of your fitness. Try to have some window for your stress release. Okay, the schedule might be very tight back for everyone, because syllabus at times seems to be very unwieldy. But at the same time, if you are taking some time free to distress your mind, it is going to really help you. For some people, it might be just walking. For some people, it might be running. For some people, it might be listening to music, etc. Whatever suits you. But if you take some small window, even for half an hour, for releasing your stress, it is going to really help you. Don't think that it is a waste of time. Rather, if you take a proper break, distress your mind, then the moment you come back to your studies, it is going to reward you in terms of better efficiency. All right. Also, always remember is that a happy mind is an efficient mind. All right. So when you are happy, distressed, then by default your efficiency is going to be better. So please take care of your physical health as well, especially for the writing of mains examination. All right. Now we have come to the mistake, that is self-doubts and anxiety. See, during mains, you are preparing for your optional, your GS paper, ethics paper, essay paper. So at times it might feel very overwhelming due to the nature of syllabus, nature of questions, the nature of speed, the speed required to write those test papers. At times you might not end up completing the paper. At times you might not get very good scores. Sometimes you might also get very good scores. So all these sinusoidal curves at times lead to some kind of self-doubts and anxiety inside our mind, and we often tend to get demotivated. So we also need to take care of this effective part, is that we will always have unflinching belief upon ourselves that yes, we are doing the right thing, we are giving our 100%, and we are going to come up with flying colors in this examination. Always remember, it is faith that moves mountains. Okay, if we have the right faith and then put that faith into action, then we can even move the mountains. Here we are just dealing with an examination. All right. And if at all you are feeling like lagging behind, that you are not matching up with the pace of syllabus, or your examination is nearing and it is somehow leading to some anxiety in you, always remember that it is not over until it is over. Okay. So you are going to prepare with your full might, with your full ability, with the right faith, with the right knowledge of the syllabus, note making, revision, test series, everything, and you are not going to give up at any stage. All right, you are going to write all the papers, and till it is not over, you are not out of the race. And if at all it still feels overwhelming to you, so remember is that the only way out is through it. Once we have decided to clear this examination, then we have to go through this drill, the drill of preparing, the drill of reading, the drill of preparing, say going through writing multiple tests, then improving upon that, then revising again. So we have to go through this drill, because the only way out is through it. So with that, I wish you all the best for your upcoming mains examination preparations. I hope these mistakes were a kind of eye-opener, and at the same time, whatever discussed, they help you in designing your preparation in a more efficient, more scientific, and a better manner. Thank you very much.